What's up, everyone? Welcome to Rabbit and Red Reviews. I'm Eric. Bunnahabhain Cruach-Mhona will be the whiskey we're going to review today. As normal, I will give you a nose, taste, finish review, chat a bit about the value, give you my final thoughts on the score, and leave you with the malt music. So let's take a look at the specs on this Bunnahabhain Cruach-Mhona. So, unlike most Bunnahabhains, which is actually quickly becoming one of my favorite distilleries in all of Scotland, this is a heavily peated Bunnahabhain. It is bottled at 50% ABV and says right here on the label, natural color, unchill filtered. So really good, encouraging sign so far. You can take a look at the bottle. Looks like the standard Bunnahabhain bottle. This is a little bit different as they had done some revamping of their labeling, but you know, by and large, still relatively looks the same. So here's a little bit of info on this whiskey itself. Cruach-Mhona, pronounced Cruach-Mhona, even though clearly one of those, like many Bunnahabhains, not an easy name to pronounce if you're not from Scotland, is an exceptional Bunnahabhain malt in many ways. Its distinctive peatiness sets it apart from the distillery's softer Isle of malts, and its complex taste rewards the adventurous with layer upon layer of hidden depths. Interesting. So they do give you some tasting notes as well, but I am not going to share those because we will get into the review now. So this is actually a travel exclusive Bunnahabhain. So not something you're going to find readily on the corner liquor store shelf. However, duty-free shop if you're traveling internationally. This one's pretty easy to find there. Also, if you're in the United States and live in a state that allows shipping of alcohol, this one's not super difficult to find online. So you can definitely, a little bit of searching and you can come across this one. All right, let's get into it. Generous pour, why not? So, as I mentioned, this is natural color. Take a look. This is a non-age statement, so I'm not really sure how old it is. Judging by the color, clearly kind of a really bright yellowish gold color. You know, who's to say? But I would assume this is, you know, in that maybe 6 to 8 range. But let's get into the nose on this. So right away, you know this is an Islay single malt scotch. Why? Because there's a heavy phenolic peat smoke to this. That hits you kind of right away. It's actually a pretty complex nose. There's a slight floral note behind it, also just a kind of an earthiness. Getting vanilla, maybe some dried fruit, kind of like sweet dried fruit. Yeah, I can't tell what kind of fruit it is, but it's definitely there. Maybe even a little bit tropical. And also just a slight kind of almost like fishiness, brininess, even coming on the nose, which is interesting. All right, let's give it a taste. Sounds. Right on the initial taste. Wow. Rich, juicy, sweet, a bit acidic. Initially, you just get this really nice kind of apple vanilla almost. And then the peat, this citrus-laden bonfire peat smoke just takes over. That kind of, yeah, like a honeyed vanilla right there as well. That little fishiness note is still there. Brine, it's definitely got some saltiness to it. Yeah, and as it heads into the finish, you're getting some spice and maybe like I want to say maybe like a plum flavor. The finish is pretty much medium. I would say orange citrus work in there. There's also maybe like a kind of a cherry cola note to some degree. And yeah, it lingers around for a little bit, some sweetness. The peat really just kind of goes away. And then there's just like a hint of menthol mint at the end. So as this is bottled at 50%, you know, I'm actually going to just put a little water on this. Let's see what that does to it. So the nose, with the addition of water, actually turns up that just dense, briny, bonfire-y peat smoke. Vanilla too is turned up. The floral is kind of gone from the nose now. It's mostly just kind of sweet citrus, vanilla, and the peat smoke. So the palate actually really comes alive, even with the addition of water. It turns up the citrus, and there's also like a rich kind of fudgy chocolate thing happening now, which I didn't get before without the addition of water. I think water's actually done this one some good in terms of bringing out some more of its complexity. That honeyed vanilla is still there, a little kick of chili pepper, hangs around till the end. And yeah, now the finish, that orange citrus in there, it's like an orange chocolate. Quite good. Cherry cola still there. So is that mintiness. All right. So as I mentioned, the Cruach-Mhona is a travel exclusive, but so if you're traveling internationally, this is something that you might be able to get your hands on in a duty-free shop. Otherwise, searching around on the internet, it's not super difficult to find. This will run you about $90 to $100 American, which is quite pricey, specifically for a non-age statement. Even though, you know, as I mentioned, non-chill filtered, natural color, so a lot of things working for it. Yeah, so around $100. Final thoughts here. It's really an interesting whiskey, quite young, but you know, it doesn't have a ton of depth, but it's kind of what the complexity really makes up for it. You'd like to see a little bit more on the finish, I think, but you know, all in all, for a travel exclusive, which are really hit and miss, I think this one is more of a hit than a miss. You know, enjoyable stuff, especially if you like peated smoky whiskey. Just a bit on the overpriced side. I mean, $100 is just a little bit too much in my opinion. So I think as far as my final score on this, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5, which means I definitely recommend trying or buying a bottle at a good price if you can find it. All right, so that is my review of the Bunnahabhain Cruach-Mhona, and I will catch you next time here on Rapid and Red Reviews. Here's your malt musing. Slange.